it's obviously it's something that I'll always think about. You know, if I search for what I really believe about that, and the honest truth is that we didn't know. And of course, you know, hindsight is a wonderful thing. And it was judgment based on these, you know, the balance of these two scales. I think that whenever you go through a period of history, ultimately it's about learning from it. You know, you've got to make sure that if a pandemic, you know, disease happens again, we'll be far better prepared. And I think that the Far East was far better prepared because they'd been through MERS and SARS. And honestly, that how I feel is like, I really wish we'd known then what we knew now.
What if you, in hindsight then, because we're playing games of hindsight now, which are, as they say, it's 2020. But when you look back honestly at the decisions that were made and how you got the data and the way that the meetings were handled with Sage and all of these, and ultimately what led to these decisions, what in hindsight, which is a wonderful thing that we can only deploy in the past.
Yeah.
In hindsight, what do you think were the mistakes or the areas where we could have done better in the decision making, how we got the information and all those things? What were those mistakes in hindsight?
Well, you know, there were some mistakes that we made in terms of the measures, how they were brought in.
As in not hard enough, or?
Just, you know, just details about the things that really, really matter to people. I'll give you one example. Funerals. We brought in rules saying that 6 people could go to a funeral, I think it was. Very, very restrictive. But for some people, especially people who were shielding, the rules were interpreted as, in some cases, even the spouse shouldn't go to the funeral if they were shielding. Now, that was terrible. I remember watching the film of a young boy who died, who was buried by people in hazmat suits without his parents there. And, you know, that was just awful. And, you know, you listen to that, right? And we changed the rules and made it clear. So, you know, that was all the time. I'd say, you know, all the time we were on the lookout for, okay, what do we need to be doing differently? Because it was unprecedented. And there was in hindsight, some of it looks like these were sort of hard and fast and obvious decisions. They weren't obvious decisions at all. And we were constantly sort of questioning ourselves in terms of whether we got the judgment right.